Picture this. A man walks into an empty hall, the walls carved with symbols no one alive can fully read. At the center, there's a stone tablet with 2 lines etched into it. No chants, no rituals, just 2 sentences. And for centuries, the few who discovered them swore their lives were never the same, because money, opportunity, and influence began to appear in ways that defied logic. Now, here's the part no one tells you. You've been commanding your reality this entire time. Every whisper in your mind, every thought you repeat, every phrase you casually throw out, they don't just disappear. They echo. They bend the field around you. That's why some people seem to get lucky overnight, while others grind for years and stay stuck. It's not luck, it's language. But here's the danger. Most people speak poison. I can't afford this. Why is it always so hard? Nothing ever works out for me. They don't realize every one of those sentences is a ritual in itself, a command, a law. And the universe, call it God, call it the subconscious, call it the field, doesn't argue. It obeys. That's why you're here. Because tonight you're going to hear the 2 sentences that cut through all of it. 2 commands so absolute they don't negotiate with doubt. They erase it. And before you think this is just hype, let me be clear. I'm not handing them to you in the first minute. If I did, they wouldn't work. You'd repeat them like a mantra, empty of power. Because the commands don't live in the words. They live in the state you carry when you speak them. That's why you need to understand the hidden trap you've been falling into your entire life. Because once you see it, the shift is permanent. Stay with me. The first command will be revealed when you're ready, not before. And when you hear it, something inside you will stir. You'll know you've been speaking the wrong laws your entire life. And the second command? That's the one no resistance can survive. Not fear, not bills, not reality. Nothing. 2 sentences. That's all it takes to bend money toward you like iron pulled by a magnet. So ask yourself, are you ready to hear what most people will never even believe exists? Because once you do, there's no going back. The commands are waiting. And tonight, they will be yours. Most people think they're just talking. They vent to friends. They complain under their breath. They replay the same tired sentences in their heads. But here's the part that would chill you if you could see it from above. Those words never vanish. They take form. Every "I'm broke." It lands like a stone dropped in water. Every "this is too hard." It weaves itself into the mirror of tomorrow. Every "I can't." It becomes a lock on the very doors you were meant to walk through. You don't realize it, but you've been casting spells your whole life, not with candles or smoke, but with language. And here's the tragedy. Most people live inside a script they didn't choose. They repeat their parents' phrases. They echo society's limits. They let the voice of fear become their own inner speech. Neville Goddard warned about this. He said, "Your inner conversations are the causes of the circumstances of your life." Read that again in your mind. Your inner conversations are causes, not opinions, not descriptions, causes. So if your inner voice keeps saying, "It's never enough," it's always a struggle. What do you think reality is forced to obey? Now maybe you've noticed this pattern yourself. A bill arrives, and before you even think, the words slip out. How am I going to pay this? And sure enough, stress tightens your chest. Opportunities shrink. Money feels further away. Or you see someone else succeed, and inside, a whisper, "Why not me? I'll never get there." And instantly, your own success moves one step further out of reach. It's not your circumstances that trap you. It's the sentences you feed them. Here's where it gets darker. The subconscious doesn't care if you mean it or not. Sarcasm, jokes, frustration, it doesn't matter. If you repeat it, it plants. And once it plants, it grows. That's why so many people feel cursed. They pray, they hope, they hustle, but nothing changes. Because all the while, they're canceling themselves out with the sentences they don't even hear anymore. Now, pause here for a moment. If this is hitting you in the chest, If you're realizing just how many careless commands you've spoken, that's good. It means the old veil is ripping, because tonight, you're not just going to replace those words, you're going to shatter them. And here's the real twist. It doesn't take 10 pages of affirmations. It doesn't take hours of visualization. It takes 2 sentences. 2 sentences that stand so tall, every weaker word you've ever spoken bows before them. But you can't rush this, because if I gave them to you right now, you'd treat them like decorations. Pretty, but powerless. You need to feel, deep down, why they work. Why the subconscious has no choice but to kneel before them. And once you feel that, once the truth hits your chest like a drumbeat, the first command will be revealed, not before. Stay close, because in the next few minutes, you'll understand why your struggle was never random. It was scripted by your own words. And more importantly, how 2 new commands will rewrite everything. There's a trap you've been living inside without even knowing it. It isn't the economy. It isn't your job. It isn't the number in your bank account. The trap is invisible. It's stitched into every casual phrase you've ever spoken, and every one of those phrases has been obeyed. Think about it. How many times have you said, "I can't catch a break," and then the break never came? How many times have you whispered, "This is too hard," and suddenly it became harder? How many times have you thought, "It's never enough," and life made sure it never was? The trap is simple, but deadly. You've been treating your words like background noise, but to the subconscious, your words are law. Neville Goddard said, "Your inner speech mirrors itself in your outer world," which means every careless line you repeat is an order, an instruction, a command. And here's the truth no one dares to admit. The subconscious doesn't care if you spoke in anger, sarcasm, or desperation. It only cares that you spoke. That's why some people can grind for decades and stay broke, because their hustle is canceled out by the quiet sentences poisoning their state. But what happens when you replace all those weak, toxic commands with one decree that cannot be broken? What happens when every weaker word you've ever spoken collapses under the weight of one unshakable law? Lean closer, because this is where everything begins. The first command is this: my decree cannot be broken. Say it slowly in your mind. Feel it. My decree cannot be broken. Do you sense it? The shift? This isn't a wish. This isn't hope. It's authority. It's finality. When you speak this, you are setting an unshakable law into motion. Every "I can't" you ever muttered, every fear you've ever entertained, they are nullified in an instant. Because from this moment forward, your words are no longer suggestions. They are decrees, and decrees cannot be broken. This is the foundation. Without this, nothing else works. With this, everything else bends to you. So whisper it once more, not timidly, but with your chest full, as though reality itself is listening. My decree cannot be broken. That is your law now. And when you carry this law, the second command will strike even harder. Because it erases the last trick resistance ever had against you. And in the next minute, you'll hear it. You've just spoken it. My decree cannot be broken. But let's make this real. Let's see how it moves through your life. Imagine this. You open your inbox, and there it is. Another bill. The old you feels the weight instantly. Fear, doubt, frustration. Your heart races. Your stomach sinks. But not this time. This time, before the fear can speak, you whisper under your breath, my decree cannot be broken. And suddenly the energy shifts. The bill is no longer a threat. It's just paper, waiting for the decree to move resources toward it. And watch what happens. A payment clears early, a refund arrives, or a new opportunity appears. Why? Because the moment you spoke law, reality had no choice but to rearrange. Now picture yourself at work. A deal's on the table, but it feels shaky. The old you would stress, overthink, beg for it to close. But now, you don't chase. You lean back in your chair, breathe deep, and let the words rise inside. My decree cannot be broken. And you notice the room feels different. Your energy shifts. The people across from you sense something unspoken, authority, and the deal falls in your favor, not because you begged, but because your decree bent the air itself. One more. You're walking past something you've always wanted, maybe a car, a trip, a home. The old you sighs, someday, maybe, but not anymore. You stop, lift your chin, and let it roll from your lips like thunder. My decree cannot be broken. And with that, desire stops being a taunt. It becomes an inevitability. The path begins to rearrange. The steps appear beneath your feet. And wealth, large sums of it, begins to move. Here's the truth. Most people's words are fragile. They break at the first sign of resistance. But not yours. Not anymore. Because when you speak this command, it doesn't bend. It doesn't collapse. My decree cannot be broken. Say it now. Out loud if you can. Stamp it in the comments if you dare. Not just as a phrase, but as a public seal. Proof that you've stepped into a higher law. Because once this command is planted, you're ready for the second one. And the second? That's the hammer. That's the decree that shatters resistance itself. Stay close, because in just a moment, I'll hand it to you. You've spoken the first law. My decree cannot be broken. That was the foundation. But even a decree meets resistance. Old fears rise up, doubts whisper, circumstances test you, and this is where most people collapse. They think resistance means it isn't working. They think delays are proof of failure. But you're not here to collapse. You're here to conquer. So lean closer. Because the second command is the strike that ends resistance once and for all. It is this. Resistance dies before my word. Say it again. Resistance dies before my word. Feel the weight of it in your chest. No obstacle can stand against this decree. No bill, no setback, no fear. The moment you speak it, the resistance that once blocked you begins to wither. It has no choice. Picture yourself standing before a locked door. The old you would rattle the handle, panic, give up. But with this command, the door doesn't just open. The lock itself disintegrates. Resistance dies before my word. That's the endgame. The combination of the two commands is lethal to lack. First, my decree cannot be broken. Second, resistance dies before my word. Together, they don't ask. They don't negotiate. They erase. And from that moment forward, large sums of money are no longer something you chase. They're something drawn to you, unstoppable, inevitable. Now pause for a moment. You have the two commands in your hands. My decree cannot be broken. Resistance dies before my word. Two sentences that carry the power to rewrite your financial life from the inside out. But here's where most people fail. They think the power is in simply saying the words. They whisper them once, then check their bank account 5 minutes later. When nothing changes instantly, they give up. That is not how this works. These are not empty affirmations. These are laws. And a law has no effect unless you embody it. So let's break this down, step by step, moment by moment, so you never use these commands carelessly. Step 1. Timing is everything. There are 3 windows in your day when these commands sink deepest. Before sleep. Your conscious mind drifts, your subconscious opens. This is when you step into the silence and lay down law. Don't beg, don't hope, declare, my decree cannot be broken. And then, like a sword through the night, resistance dies before my word. Fall asleep with those words pulsing in your chest, and the subconscious begins rearranging everything to match. The first breath of morning. Most people wake up and instantly grab their phone. Emails, stress, noise. but not you. Before a single thought of the day slips in, breathe deep and declare again. My decree cannot be broken. Resistance dies before my word. This stamps authority on the entire day before fear or doubt can touch you. In the heat of challenge, this is where most people fold. A bill arrives, a payment bounces, a client pulls out, and instantly the inner spiral begins. But not you. The very second resistance shows its face, you crush it. Resistance dies before my word. This is the sword that cuts fear down before it can breathe. Step 2. The ritual of desire. Here's where the commands stop being just defense and become offense. Whenever you see what you want, the car, the house, the opportunity, don't sigh and say, someday. Don't shrink. That's the old language, the old you. Instead, plant your feet, lift your chin, and declare with certainty, my decree cannot be broken. Follow it with, resistance dies before my word. Now watch what happens. What once felt distant begins to feel inevitable. Circumstances shift. Paths you couldn't see before start opening. The desire stops being a taunt and becomes a summons. Step 3. Anchor it in writing. Words spoken once can fade, but words written? They etch themselves into the subconscious. That's why I want you to stamp both commands right now in the comments. My decree cannot be broken. Resistance dies before my word. This isn't just interaction, it's law. It's sealing the decree in public, and when thousands of us declare it together, it becomes more than belief. Becomes a vibration strong enough to ripple through the field itself. Step 4. Feel it in your body. This is where Neville Goddard and Dr. Joe Dispenza meet. Neville said, feeling is the secret. Joe said, coherence. When your heart and brain align, is what collapses possibility into reality. So, don't just speak the words like hollow sound. Feel them. When you say, my decree cannot be broken, straighten your spine. Feel authority in your chest. Sense the shift in your body as though reality itself is listening. When you say, resistance dies before my word, imagine obstacles crumbling in front of you. Picture bills shrinking, debts dissolving, doors unlocking. Let your body feel the release as if it's already happened. Because it has. Stop for a moment. Take a breath. Let's step back from the noise, from the teaching, from the how. Because now it's not about information, it's about identity. You have been handed 2 commands that bend reality. My decree cannot be broken. Resistance dies before my word. But here's the truth. Hearing them is not enough. Speaking them once is not enough. These must become who you are. Most people come across a video like this. They feel a spark, and then tomorrow they go back to the same words, the same doubts, the same prison they lived in yesterday. That will not be you. Because you didn't arrive here by accident. You didn't click this out of curiosity. Something in you has been calling for this. You found this message because life knew you were ready to step into authority. So tonight, we seal it. The old you dies. Here. The old you, the one who begged for money, who feared bills, who whispered, I can't afford it, dies tonight. That person no longer exists. From this moment forward, you are the one whose word is law. You are the one before whom resistance falls. You are the one who carries decree like a crown. Close your eyes and picture this. You walk into a room. The air shifts. Opportunities turn toward you. Doors unlock before you touch them. Why? Because your vibration declares louder than any voice. My decree cannot be broken. Resistance dies before my word. That is not a phrase. That is your identity. Why most fail, and why you won't. Most people fail because they treat this as positive thinking. They whisper weakly, hoping the universe is listening. They speak as beggars. But you? You've seen through that lie. You now know the truth Neville revealed. That imagination creates reality. That inner speech commands the outer world. You've also heard what modern teachers like Dr. Joe Dispenza echo: emotion and repetition are what rewire the field. This means your decrees aren't casual, they are nuclear. Each time you speak them, you etch law into the subconscious. You impress command into the field. And unlike the masses who give up when nothing happens overnight, you persist. You stand in authority. You keep the decree alive until life itself bends to prove you right. The daily walk of power. So how do you carry this forward? It's simple, but it's not casual. Morning. Before the world touches you, speak it. Don't check your phone. Don't scroll. Open your eyes and declare, "My decree cannot be broken. Resistance dies before my word." Daytime. Every challenge is your practice ground. Bill arrives, decree. Delay hits, decree. Even a small frustration, decree. You are training the world to kneel to your words. Night. Before sleep, stamp it again. Drift off with the words echoing in your mind. Your subconscious works while you rest, and every small proof that shows up, a discount, a refund, an extra dollar, an open door, you celebrate. Because those are not accidents. They are cracks in the old system. The flood is coming. The collective decree. Now, I want to give you a challenge. Look below this video. Thousands are watching alongside you. This is not just content. This is a movement. So stamp your decree into the comments. My decree cannot be broken. Resistance dies before my word. Why? Because words written in public carry double the power. You declare to yourself, to others, and to the universe. And when thousands declare together, reality trembles. The field bends faster. Type it, stamp it, anchor it. The final seal. Now hear me. From this day on, you are no longer the seeker. You are the speaker. You are no longer the beggar. You are the lawgiver. Money is not above you. Opportunity is not against you. Wealth is not a stranger. From tonight, large sums of money are drawn to you because your decree has made it so. Let the old doubts rise if they must, then watch them crumble before your words. Let resistance try to show up, then laugh as it dies before your decree. This is not theory. This is law. And now, it is your law. The invitation. And if something shifted in you tonight, if you feel it, that quiet certainty that the old life has ended and the new one has begun, then don't stop here. Subscribe right now. Not for me, for you, for the new identity that you must protect, grow, and strengthen. Because each week, we go deeper. Each week, I give you another key to bend money, life, and opportunity to your imagination. Because from this moment forward, this is your crown, your shield, your identity. I hope you felt this. I hope you stamped it. And I'll see you, powerful, wealthy, unstoppable, in the very next video.